So far we have seen that there is a need for background knowledge and there is a need to be well versed in vocabulary to be able to excel in reading comprehension. But is grammar necessary? Now this is the third myth. Most of you see grammar through the prism of a set of rules which if you follow, you write correct English, otherwise your English can go wrong. That is the normal perception of grammar. So that grammar probably is not directly applicable to reading comprehension. But don't forget that grammar has essentially evolved as a vehicle for meaning. So start seeing grammar as a vehicle for meaning. All the grammar structures, through them you convey meaning. Writers, when they write, they struggle with their sentence construction to convey the right meaning. So therefore, grammar sentence structure or grammar syntax, that is knowledge of that is necessary. In fact, it is not just knowledge, it needs to be internalized in your minds at the subliminal level. Because when you're reading, you can't start identifying, oh, this is subject, this is direct object, right? The issue is, it should be internalized in your brain. It should be hardwired into your brain. Now, most of you have not learnt grammar syntax in school. You were supposed to have internalized it automatically through reading. But that is where your problem is. Because you didn't read regularly, your background knowledge suffered, your vocabulary suffered, your lack of understanding of grammar syntax suffered. And there are many times you struggle with sentences trying to unravel the meaning. Like there was once I told a student that it is no one's case. It is no one's case that there has been no development in India in the last 70 years. It is no one's case that there has been no development in the last 70 years. So the student confronted me, sir, how can you say that? Can't you see so much development has taken place? So I told him that is exactly what I'm saying. That those who say there has been no development are obviously saying something wrong because it's no one's case. Everyone knows there has been development. So this double negative, no one's case and no development, he didn't know how to handle negatives. Imagine. So you're reading a passage and you're understanding just the reverse of what has been said. Just because you don't understand grammatical structure, you are unable to handle negatives and handle double negatives. This is saying that yes, everybody accepts that there has been a lot of development in the last summer. This is precisely saying that. Okay. So grammar syntax is one area which you have now to start by learning a bit and then observing a bit, and then it will get internalized as you keep reading further. But grammar syntax, no one really emphasizes on this in school. They again are teaching you rules for correct English or incorrect English. But let's see what basically I'm trying to tell you about grammar syntax. So the basic unit of communication is a sentence or a clause. It has a subject and it has a predicate. The subject is the person or thing whom you are talking about, and predicate is what you are saying about that person or thing. So, if you are using a intransitive verb, means a verb that does not take a direct object. Here is an example: the birds, the subject. What did they do? They flew. So there is no need for a direct object here. Now, where did they fly? Over the trees. So it's an adverbial of place. Where did they fly? So over the trees. The same thing. So these are simple sentences. You'll obviously read them as thought units, as 3 thought units. The birds flew over the trees. So there's no confusion. But if you read a longer sentence, the children were playing happily in the park last evening. Now you should be able to see these distinctly as 3 separate thought units. One is an adverb of manner, adverb of place, adverb of time. So grammar syntax teaches you to read in thought units. If you have a structure of a sentence, this sancha where there are slots in which you have to fit in the necessary things for meaning to flow, that sancha should form in your head as you are reading. And instead of reading word by word, you should be able to say, oh, children were doing 3 things. So, manner, time, place, and time. Right? So, this is all happening at a subliminal level, at an unconscious level. Similarly, let's take the transitive verb. He kicked the ball. Simple enough. Now, let's just take a little more complicated. Where the direct, so here, kicked what? The ball. So answer to what is the ball, so that's a direct object of the verb. We regret that you did not find the project satisfactory. Here again, we is the subject, regret is the main verb. This whole thing is a direct object. This has to be taken in your head as one element, as one thought unit, as a that clause. That you did not find the product satisfactory is one idea. So, again, reading in thought units. Similarly, let's take a linking verb. The flowers are beautiful. Simple. Now let's take where the subject is long. What course of action we should follow is the moot point. Now, don't try to break it up into too many things. This is one thing. What course should you follow is a debatable issue here, right? So, this whole thing should be taken as one thought unit. So, don't measure your reading. Don't be a word reader. Be a phrase reader. Phrase reader includes clause reader, because all thoughts are contained in phrases and clauses. And as the writing gets complex, far more complex structures of sentences evolve, and there are compound sentences, compound complex sentences, there are appositives, there are gerunds, there are participles. All that makes for complex understanding. So don't treat this issue as something that is to be sneezed at. There is a whole chapter on this in my book, which I will discuss in my next video.